നമസ്കാരം. റഷ്യ ഉക്രൈൻ യുദ്ധം തുടങ്ങിയിട്ട് ഏകദേശം ഒരു കൊല്ലം കഴിഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്നു. ഉക്രൈനിൻ്റെ നയതന്ത്ര ഇടപെടലുകൾ സജീവമായിരിക്കുന്ന ഒരു സമയത്താണ് ഉക്രൈൻ പാർലമെൻറ്റ് അംഗം യൂലിയ ക്ലിമെങ്കോ ഡൽഹിയിലെത്തിയിരിക്കുന്നു. G20 ഉച്ചകോടിയുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട അനുബന്ധ പരിപാടികൾ പങ്കെടുക്കുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് ക്ലിമെങ്കോ ഇവിടെ എത്തിയിട്ടുള്ളത്. ഇപ്പോൾ മാതൃഭൂമി ന്യൂസിനൊപ്പം യൂലിയ ചേരുന്നു. വെൽക്കം ടു ദ ടോക്ക് ഷോ, മാം.
Thank you. Well, thank you.
You have been here for a couple of days. You have been meeting people from all sections of the society in India. What is your feedback?
I mean, people amazing, and honestly, I'm a frequent traveler to India. I have traveled a lot in India, and I have relatives, new family in India. But I'm very impressed of the jump that India have done for past few years, economically and socially. And in Odisha, I saw a lot of. I met with the students in good universities, and I saw a lot of bright eyes, bright brains, and a lot of. I'm happy that I saw a lot of girls in the university. So I see the difference between what I saw 15 years ago and I see now. So I'm impressed, and the people very, very welcoming. I mean, I feel like I'm at home.
I mean, it's almost 1 year plus after the war has started. Have you talked to the people of India regarding what they feel about the Russian-Ukraine clash now?
I feel to the different people, to politicians, to the government, and to the common Indians. And I can tell you that I see support of Ukraine. So it's not like open or strong support, but I still see that people understand why we are fighting, why we are protecting our independence and sovereignty, why we are actually in this war. And people clearly understand on each level that we are not we didn't start this war. Russia started this war 8 years ago, invaded Ukraine, and full-scale invasion was a year ago. They killed a lot of kids, women, rape kids and women. So, they are behaving like barbarians, and people clearly understand it. You don't have much information here about Ukraine and even about Russia. What has surprised me very much that you don't have a real picture what is going on inside Russia. So you still see Russia as a Soviet Union, but Russia is not a Soviet Union. They are much weaker. They are much smaller because we also were. Ukraine was the part of Soviet Union, but Russia is just. Very small piece of Soviet Union, and it's becoming weaker and weaker and weaker. And unfortunately, they are taking our lives, our homes, but it's not making them stronger or better.
What do you expect from India in this war?
I think India should, as the largest country in the world now, and a big power, raising power on the international arena, I think India should take more involvement in this in our discussions with Russia, as well as take a stand, because when you have such a kind of war, you cannot be just neutral. It's very difficult to be neutral when you have a pure evil. When you see this barbarians war, genocide, you cannot be just neutral. And if you want to lead the world and to be a leading power in the world, you have to take a stand at some point of time. Maybe not now, maybe later, but you have to take a stand, and you have to deliver your clear message to the aggressor and said there is not a behavior which should be tolerated in the world. You should get back from the Ukrainian territory, and then you all can start talking about peace. Before they are on our territory, Russians on our territory, we cannot start peace negotiations.
Do you think that negotiation with Russia will end this conflict now? Do you expect that Ukraine can talk to Russia in a position?
I don't think we can do it now. But I think if Russia will take their troops out of Ukrainian territory, then it could be a room for discussion. Before that, I don't see any room for discussions and any kind of peace deals, because too many lives, Ukrainian lives lost, too many destructions, and this is it's a unfair war with no reason. So this war has no reason for anybody in the world. So Russia, I don't know why they invaded, why they took this decision, but they lost from day one, because there is no clear reason why they invaded Ukraine. For what? For territory? They have the largest territory in the world. For people, they don't need our people because they are killing them. What for? For what? What showed in this war? I don't know. I cannot understand. And there is no possibility how Russia can take Ukraine or keep Ukraine. Because the war is not about taking territories and occupied territories. It's to keeping territories.
Correct.
If there are civilians and nation against the aggressor, there is no possibility in the world how you can take it and keep it. So unfortunately, Russia put itself into the deadlock, into the corner. Maybe you as a big power can suggest some kind of out of this corner. Maybe your prime minister is a powerful person and still talking to Putin, which is very rare, because many leaders don't speak to Putin anymore. But I think even G20 is a good before G20, it's a room for discussion with Putin and to convince him to take out troops and leave alone Ukraine with their sovereignty, independence and territories.
Do you expect that Mr. Narendra Modi will have to speak to Mr. Putin at any point of a time to end this conflict?
I think at least he will meet Putin during preparation for G20 as well as during G20 if Putin will come. But as well as we expect that your Prime Minister Modi will invite also Ukraine and Mr. Zelensky, our president, to have our point of view, to have a say in these discussions, because you cannot have only one part of the discussion. You need to hear all arguments and to have an opportunity for President Zelensky to deliver his views and on behalf of the Ukrainian nation. So I think that's what we expect from the India, and we hope that we can at least talk about it.
But the thing is, India has a long-standing relationship earlier with Soviet Union and with Russia. It's what you call a natural ally of India. Even after the Ukrainian war, we are buying oil from Russia.
Yeah.
What is your position on that? Has Ukraine taken up it with the Indian government in the diplomatic level?
Yes, we are talking on the diplomatic level. We had the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs last week. Emine came to India and had discussions with your officials and your politicians. So, and we hope that we will get an invitation for the parliamentary delegation in June, as I know that you will have, so to say, speakers conference before G20 as well as on a parliamentarian level, and the Ukrainian parliamentarians happy to join and to come and to explain and to deliver their position, because now in our parliament we have a unity. We don't have parties. We have parties, but we united, and we can come from different parties, from different point of views, but we are delivering the same message, and we will be happy to meet and to talk to your parliamentarians, to your governmental officials, and hope we will get an invitation.
Now, you have the foreign forces in Ukraine. That's what the reports say. I don't know. But agency report says that along with the Ukrainian forces, there are foreign armies fighting in Ukraine in the war as part of NATO. But directly NATO is not there in the war.
No, it's not NATO.
So what do you feel about that? Russia always is pointing to that factor, that you have American forces even
We don't have American forces. We have a lot of nationalities who are fighting hand by hand with Ukrainians, and this is actually allowed under our legislation that you you can come as a foreigner and we have a foreign legion.
Okay.
So and you can join it, and you can even could do it before the war. So it's not like it happened yesterday because of the Russian or no. We have a foreign legion, and we have a lot of people coming just for their will. It's not forcefully, not in a single country in European Union or in US or NATO sent a single soldier. Okay. But these people are coming by their wishes and will, and they are fighting with us. And we have a very big Belarusian legion, yes, as well as Russian legion. So we have even Russians who are fighting against Putin's regime, because they are Russians and they don't want to see their country destroyed actually by Putin, because Putin is not only destroying our country physically, but he destroying his country, his own country. His best people left. People living in the country, there is no investments, no future actually for development. He is isolated from many developed and Western countries. What he gonna do? To be a part of China? I mean, this is the only way for him now. But did he ask his people, Russian people, if they want to be a part of China? I don't know. Maybe not. So that's actually many Russians in Ukraine, they realize it, and they are fighting against, not against Russians, as it presented by Putin, but against Putin regime and Kremlin regime.
The other issue is, why did Russia invade Ukraine? The decision to join NATO. Do you think that was a decision that every political party in Ukraine supported it?
Yes, we have more than 90%, more than 87% of approval rating, approval polls, Ukrainians who want to join NATO. Before the war, it was like 60%. Now it's 87. It's not about politicians or officials. It's about nation and Ukrainians who would like to join NATO. This is, I mean, clear answer to all speculations. It's not about, Zelensky regime or any other regime. It's a will of Ukrainian nations to join NATO, because we see NATO as a strong alliance to protect our country against such a violent and barbarian wars like Russia started.
The other issue, what Indian students are facing there were a lot of Indian students who were studying in Ukraine, especially for the medical courses. Now almost all of them have come back. I mean, they're trying hard to find a course here in India, because there are certain rules which prohibit them from joining the Indian courses. So do you expect, do you welcome them back, or is there any other way that you can help them in continuing their courses?
We are welcoming back, and we have even passed governmental sub-laws that allow them to join, for example, European universities, and then take their credits from these universities, from the list of universities, and put it into the Ukrainian and settled for Ukrainian credits. So you can continue your education in many countries, and then Ukrainian educational system will allow you to put it into your diploma. So, and we also think that starting from this September, we will open universities, many universities, particularly medical universities, with the Indian students. They are on Western Ukraine. They are not on Eastern or South Ukraine. So they can most probably they will able to start to proceed with their education and diplomas, etc. Now we have online education for Ukrainian students as well for Indian students. So we have many opportunities how you can finish your education and get a diploma and then to be a doctor or to be any other. And we have actually a lot of students staying in Ukraine and a lot of businesses, and we have a very big Indian diaspora in Ukraine, and we even I saw them during the occupation of Kyiv and Kyiv Oblast. In April 2022 they were helping Ukrainians and they didn't leave, so I asked them, why didn't you leave? And say, well, we are fine, we will stay stay and we will fight. So that was the answer. So and we are meeting them regularly, as well as your ambassador to Ukraine. So we are in connection, and if any help needed, we are happy to support and to provide for students, for Indian citizens in Ukraine.
No, is it safe for the students to come back now because the flights have started? Or
no flights. You cannot have flights during the wartime. So it's a no-fly zone over the Ukraine. So you can fly to Warsaw, to Poland, for example, and then take a train. That's how I come here. Okay. So from Kiev to Warsaw or to any other European city by train, and then you can take a flight to India. It's a direct flight between, for example, Poland, Warsaw, and Ukraine. 7 hours flight, so you can fly.
So you expect to start the universities from the coming September?
We are discussing it, but it will depend on the war situation as well. As we will consider this is safe for people and students, as well as we will get more air defense system to protect cities, because now we are very well protect Kiev, and we need to cover other cities with air defense. As soon as our military will say it's more or less safe, then we will invite and open university. But some universities still open and schools. My kids in Kiev, and they are going to school every day. And yes, if we have air raids, they are going to the bomb shells. But still, they are going for 1 year. They are going to the school, to Ukrainian school, and it's an offline school.
The main issue for the medical courses will be basically the practical side.
I agree with you. Yeah.
So that is the problem they are facing here in India, because they can't go to a college, medical college here, because they have not taken the national entrance examination. NEET is basically only those people who have covered the passed the NEET can join any college here. So those students who have joined the Ukrainian colleges are those people who are very low in the rank of NEET, or those who have not got any admission here. So that's a problem. So how do you manage to tackle that issue? Because unless there are a lot of final year students, I mean, according to some reports which had come during the time when the students came back, it was around 1,400 students who are in the final years. So they won't be able to...
half a year or 1 year. Yes, we just discussed it with our embassy in Ukraine here, and we actually, I met with Ukrainian and Indian students in Odessa. So we collected all proposals and claims, and we will do our homework how we can solve this problem. So the Indian students will not be left, and we will find a solution how we can do it. So because this is, it's a new discover for me. I didn't know that they have a problem with the practical side. Because with the education, they can join either European universities or Indian universities and then settle credits. And for practices, I agree with you, it's they need to come back or to have it here allowed.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Thank you.